start with the prayers. Om Bhadram Karnepi Shriyava Deva Bhadram Pashe Makshabhyajatraha Stirairangaihi Sushtuvakum Sashtanubihi Vyashema Devahi Tamvyadayuhu Swasti na Indro Vrittashravaha Swasti na Pusha Vishwavedaha Swasti na Stakshorarishtanemihi Swasti no Brihaspatirdhadato Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. After finishing the first chapter called Agama Prakaranam, we have taken up a revision of the summary of this chapter. Māṇḍūkya Upaniṣad, according to Māṇḍūkya Upaniṣad, which we did yesterday in Saturday class, in the first chapter, 26th mantra of Māṇḍūkya Upaniṣad, it clearly says, the final liberation will come when you study Māṇḍūkya Upaniṣad. Liberation means moksha. Moksha means no rebirth. Samsara means repeated births and deaths. Taking a body, again coming into this world, again going through the joy and sorrows. This is repeated cycle of samsara. How do I get out of the samsara? Not many people even know that you can come out. Māṇḍūkya Upaniṣad in chapter 1, 26th mantra, it says very clearly, if you want to have moksha, you have 108 Upanishads, very, very voluminous Shastra. But there is one Upanishad, Māṇḍūkya Upaniṣad. You study that Upanishad, you will get your moksha. Very easy to study, and you can get the same result by studying those other Upanishads. Why is it easy? Because you have to study only 12 verses. If you understand the 12 verses very clearly, it says that you attain moksha, which is the fourth purushartha for human beings. With this short introduction, let me go to the portion where we stopped last week. Karika number 6, we have finished. We are going to start with the 7th Karika today. In this Māṇḍūkya Upaniṣad, there are two theories of creation. One is projection of Maya Shakti, which is the totality. It is Ishvara Shakti, not my Shakti. Ishvara Shakti. And this Shakti projects the waking universe. Shakti which produces the dream universe, that is Nidra Shakti. Each one of us are endowed with Nidra Shakti. What about the supreme reality, which we call it as Turiya? In the 7th mantra, we say there is a reality. And that reality is uncaused cause. It is never created. In the 4th chapter of Māṇḍūkya Upaniṣad, this entire creation theory of the world is abolished by the Vedanta. When we come to that, we will see that. So this world which we are experiencing, it is an appearance. It is a mula, it is a projection of mula, avidya, shakti of a jiva. See, we have two shaktis. One shakti is, I don't know my real nature, therefore I can see the world as real. The second Shakti is Avidya Shakti, a simple Nidra Shakti. I don't know my wakerhood, therefore, I am creating a dream world, projecting the dream. The dream world is projected out of the Vāsanās, the impressions which we have in our Karana Sharira. Whereas the waking world is a projection of Ishvara. It is for the benefit of Jiva to come out of this world and realize his true nature. Now, Jati Vada means, Jati means birth, creation. Ajati means no creation. So that is what Advaitin says. Creation is not there, but projection is there. Can we say that we are creating the dream world? No. We are projecting the dream world out of our own Vāsanās. Similarly, what Veda says, according to Advaitin, is this is a projection of Ishvara. It is only an appearance. Shankaracharya accepts two realities. One is called as Vyavahārika. The second is called as Paramārthika. All other philosophers don't have something called as Paramārthika. Whether you take Sankhya, Yoga, Nyaya, Vaiseshika, Purva Mimamsa, the Buddhists, none of them have got a Paramārthika Satyam. Paramārthika Satyam means there is a reality which is beyond this transactional world. Suppose you're in a dream, and the dreamer, to a dreamer, there is a guru who comes and says, beyond this dream world, there is a waker. In the waker, there is no dream world at all. Try to get this point very clearly. Right now, you're all wakers. You're all wakers. In this waker, as a waker, I don't have an iota of the dream. Similarly, what Gaudapadacharya says is, for a waker, a guru comes and says, there is Turiya. In Turiyam, there is no world, no waking world. Try to get this point, because this is the point which Shankaracharya and Gaudapadacharya hammers in the second chapter and the third chapter. Try to understand the logic. We are trying to understand the absolute nature of the world. The relative world we all know. The Upanishad need not come and teach us. What Gaudapadacharya concludes is the waking world has the same reality as of the dream world. It is also a projection. As long as the illusion lasts, a magic show will appear very real. As long as we have an illusion of the rope snake or a shell silver or a dream or the waking, the world of illusion will appear real. Only on being awakened to the Brahman, being awakened to the Turiya Avastha. Turiya Avastha is called as Kaivalyam. What is the meaning of Kaivalyam? Kaivalyam means it alone exists. Once I am able to understand mantra number 7 of the Mandukya Upaniṣad 100% clearly, which I alone am. I means consciousness, I means existence. This is the transformation of a jiva to his higher nature. Once I have transformed, once my intellect has been able to go into the direction of Turiyam and take that as the self, then what happens? I can claim the Jagrat Avastha as unreal. Many seekers, they do not understand this point of how the world which we experience, which has got experienceability, transactability, and utility, how can this world, you can say it is an illusion? That is what we discuss in the second and the third chapter. Very, very detailed analysis is done. Now, what is the cause of creation? This is said in the eighth Karika. There are 29 Karikas in the first chapter. We are in the eighth Karika. The cause of creation, according to Mandukya Upaniṣad, is it is the will of God. Creation is born in time, which is real. In time alone, world manifests. But there is a timeless state, which is called as Turiya. Always keep in mind, there is timelessness and there is time. Timelessness is Atma, is my real nature. What is the purpose behind the creation of the world? Not for God's enjoyment, not as a diversion for the Lord, but it is for the Jiva's growth in the seekerhood. In Karika number 9, there are 6 theories of creation enumerated. Vedanta does not believe in any of these theories of creation. Vedanta believes in a projection theory. Abhasa. Nature of supreme reality is that it can project. And that projection is due to the Maya Shakti. See, these words and this understanding may look slightly difficult for new beginners. But as you learn the Mandukya Upanishad more and more, the nature of this world will become very clear. You must understand that I am a part of a world. I don't exist separate from the world. The world and I have got a connection. The nature of Turiyam is infinite. That means it is beyond time. For example, we say the fire. How do you define fire? Heat is the nature of fire. Similarly, what is my definition of jiva? It is not the body. According to Vedanta, the definition of a jiva is he is a consciousness principle. Consciousness is the nature, body and mind is incidental. Now, that reality which alone is expresses in the lower order, like the waker expresses himself as the dream world. Similarly, Turiyam expresses as this world of objects, inert objects, and sentient beings. Even in the dream, there are mountains, there are rivers, and there are sentient beings also. So if my mind can create that, you can imagine Lord's mind is so powerful. Lord is Paripurna, totally fulfilled. But why does he create? He creates or projects for the sake of Jiva. Suppose the Lord has desire like us, then he will be not perfect. A desireless person is fulfilled person. That is why a jnani also, when he becomes a jnani, a seeker becomes a jnani, he becomes totally fulfilled. When you study Upanishads and you understand the central theme of the Upanishads, which is my own real nature is a higher nature, which is called as Brahman or Turiya. The moment I understand that clearly, what happens is all my lower nature desires, they get dropped off. This is the nature of the world And this is the nature of the Jiva who is in the world. Now, next we have finished Karika number 9. This is a commentary of up to the 6th mantra of the Upanishad. Next comes the 7th mantra, which I told you is the most important mantra of this entire Upanishad. This is a description of Turiya. Throughout the study of Upanishads, you have to contemplate on this state. When you understand the meaning of the words in 7th mantra, your mind will get a glimpse of this state. All seekers, they will get it. But only thing is, it doesn't remain continuously. The moment my mind acts in the world, that Turiyam state which I glimpsed in my meditation or during the study, it goes away and suddenly I get involved in the world. Now this is due to prarabdha karma. But a jnani is one who has trained his mind at any time to enter his real nature. The objective world which we perceive is through the organs of knowledge, which is called as jnana indriyas, together with the mind intellect instrument. That is what we call it as knowledge. What is knowledge? Jnanam. Jnanam is objective knowledge of the world of objects. How do I understand this world of objects? When the world of objects, they come through the sense organs to my mind, I get the knowledge of the world. That is what Vedanta says. But suppose your mind is not active, as in the case when you go to sleep, this knowledge of the world is not there. So ultimately, what is the world? World is nothing but a set of vrittis in your mind. Difficult to accept it. But if you contemplate, if you go systematically, you will be able to accept this fact. Therefore, the world is called mithya. It is appearance only. We cannot say the world is satyam. We cannot say the world is asat. Asat means non-existent. Sat means always existent. Vedanta coins up a term called as mithya. All seekers must understand the concept called as mithya. Then only you will be able to understand satya. The entire waking state is mithya. Dream state is mithya. Sleep state is mithya. It is Vyavahārika. What about Turiyam? Turiyam is not mithya, it is satyam, the adhishtanam. Like a dreamer needs a waker as adhishtanam, the waker needs Turiyam as the adhishtanam. Try to understand the logic. Extremely important. Our intellect understands logic. It understands reason. Now let us try to understand the features of Turiya. See, this is called as the apavada portion, the negation portion of the word. In the 7th mantra, there are two aspects. In the first 6 mantras, it is called as adhyaropa. And the 7th mantra is called nisheda vakyam. Part of the mantra is nishedaha, or it is called as negation of the seeming word. All this is happening where the world is manifesting, unmanifesting, where in the screen of consciousness in the screen of Turiya. Now here, with reference to the Turiyam, the screen, the Upanishad says, na anta prajnam. The screen is pure consciousness. Try to get this point. If you get these 2-3 points clearly, then the entire Mandukya Upaniṣad is very easy to understand. Antaprajna means what? I am conscious of the internal world of dream. I am not that. I means what? The Turiyam I is not the internal world of dream. Na bahish prajna. It is not which is conscious of the external world. Turiyam is pure consciousness. It is the absolute consciousness. Whatever you add to that consciousness is mithya. Whether it is waking world, a dream world, or it is the sleep world of ajnanam, it is mithya. Mithya means it is there, it appears, it goes away. It appears, it goes away. Isn't it true? So many waking state has come for you, so many dream states have come for you, so many sleep states has come for you. Has it ever remained permanently? No. It is a cycle, isn't it? Waking dreams, sleep, waking dreams, sleep. Whether you are the richest person on the earth, whether you are the poorest person on the earth, whether you are a bird, whether you are a fish, whether you are, all of us have got a sleeping state. That is nature, that is prakriti. Beyond prakriti is this Turiya. What we are studying is the subtlest thing in the universe. And we have to claim that subtlest thing is I myself. Na ubhayata prajnam. It is not, ubhayam means not conscious of two things. Neither you are not conscious of the external world and the inner world together. Sometimes it happens when you are awake as soon as you get up in the morning, you're neither sleeping, you're neither awake completely. That is what is called as ubhayata prajna. Then comes the sleep state, which is na prajnana khanam. The deep sleep state is called as a homogeneous mass of consciousness, full of ajnana. It is tamasic. That Turiyam is very, very, very bright. It is sentient factor. But when it is reflected in your Karana Shariram, it is called as prajnanam. Prajna. The state you are, the sleeper is called as prajna. But in Turiyam is the prajna? No. Turiyam is not a waker, it is not a sleeper, it is not a dreamer. That is then what happens by doing this? You are negating all your experiences. Try to see what the Upanishad is trying to do. Your experiences, which is called as drishyam. This is what in the second chapter we are going to use, drishyatvam. Do you experience? It is not real. What you don't experience is real. That is the logic used by Vedanta. Then two other consciousness is given, not a simple consciousness, na prajnam or na aprajnam. Sometimes you fall into a coma. Can we call the coma stage as the real state of ours? No, you will not accept it. You will not accept because your waking state itself you're saying is not me. What about the coma state or state of all the objects? That is not Turiya. So what is conclusion? Turiyam is nothing in three states of waking, dream, and sleep, but it is beyond that. Okay, so much is all the negative things it says, Upanishad says, not this, neti. But what is this Turiya? Can it be described? Upanishad says it is adrishtam. It is not seen by the sense organs. Here, seen is only a sample, not smelt by the nostrils, not heard by the ears. It is not a touch. You can't touch this consciousness. Then comes a very beautiful word in Sanskrit called as Avyavahāryam. We're going to meditate on this word today in our meditation session. Avyavahārya means there is no transaction happening when you claim yourself as Turiya. I alone I am conscious, I am a human being, spiritual being, and that's all. Human being is also not correct. Spiritual being. Human being is the last step. Before you drop that also, the human nature you drop and you say, I am the pure consciousness. In that consciousness, transactions cannot take place because that is its nature. See, one thing you should understand, we're trying to understand a vastu called as Turiyam reality, which is defined as Satyam Jnanam Ananta. Timelessness, it is conscious, and it is existence. That is what is our goal. In all the Upanishads, whether it is Mandukya Upaniṣad, Kaivalya Upanishad, Muktika Upanishad, everything, the goal is the same. That goal, it is like space. For example, space, can you see? But it is there. It is inferred. Because objects cannot exist without space. And space, is it related to anything? No. Asangaha. The nature of space is asanga. It cannot be connected. Same is consciousness. But I feel I'm connected to my children. I feel I'm connected to my house. And I say also very clearly, my house. What Vedanta says is it is adhyasa. It is a superimposition on consciousness. This reality is eternal. See, because it is eternal, only the Upanishad is revealed to me and says, come on, go and experience it. Go and experience means what? Claim it. Grahyam. See, these are all special meanings, they are technical meanings, which are very, very important to understand. Grahya means the mind cannot comprehend Turiya because it is a effect of Turiya. Mind is, for example, you see, something which is an effect, it cannot comprehend the cause. Cause can comprehend the effect. Self is not one of the sense objects with shape, form, color, smell, touch. These are all the products of Prakriti. But the self, Turiyam, is beyond the Prakriti, beyond the nature of Panchabhutas. Alakshanam. Can I infer, like I infer space, can I infer this Atma or Turiyam? No. What you do is you accept what the way the Shabda is revealing. Way the Shabda is the Pramana. It is not inference. It is a Pramanam. It is a source of knowledge for the existence of Turiyam Brahma. And you accept it. It is not any of the sources of knowledge cannot be used logic. That is why logic cannot be used to prove Atma. That many in Vedanta, the Nayayikas or the Sankhya people, they try to prove Atma and say, I can prove Atma by logic. Shankaracharya says, no. In Brahma Sutra, second chapter, second section, all the philosophers are taken one by one. Even in the fourth chapter, a sample of that is taken in Mandukya Upaniṣad. Every philosopher is taken up and then they are negated. See, for fire, you can use smoke as a lakshanam, as an indicator. But Atma has no products or nothing is born out of Atma. We say in the presence of Atma, everything is appearing and disappearing. So there is no effect which can tell us that this Atma is there. Only the proof is Veda. Achintyam. If I go on sitting in meditation and I keep on thinking, I am Atma, without the scriptural knowledge, you cannot reach Atma because Atma is known by the scriptural knowledge. You have to use the words of the scriptures. You have to contemplate on the words of the scriptures. That is called as Mananam. But Atma by itself cannot be known. When it happens, it becomes, you understand that that is what I am. Does it happen? Really, it happens? Yes. Thousands of, this Upanishad study, it is a very old science. Thousands of seekers, millions of seekers have come and experienced the knowledge of the scriptures. And they have got the benefit. Avyapadeshyam, indescribable. Descriptions are possible for all experiences. New words are coined up for our experiences in life. But Avyapadeshyam means it is not describable because the sense organs and the mind cannot be used to know Turiya. Ekatma pratyaya saram. The nature of consciousness is Eka Atma. It is not Bahutva. You can't see many minds, you can't see many bodies in Turiya. Don't try to sit in meditation and see, I will try to know the mind of all the people in the world because I am Turiya. I should know. If I am Turiya, I am the Sakshi of one mind, I will be the Sakshi of all the minds. No. It doesn't happen like that. Never try to do all these things. These are all immature thoughts. Atma Sakshi is one. In its presence, the minds are different in different bodies. In one Sthula Shariram is attached to one mind. That Sthula Shariram, that mind is known by the Sakshi. Now, knowledge can be divided into two parts. One is called as conditioned knowledge. Another is called as unconditioned knowledge. See, so much of information is given in the first chapter for us to reach and claim that Turiyam as my nature. What is the meaning of conditioned knowledge? You see, ultimately, what jnanam, you see, satyam jnanam anantam. Jnanam means consciousness. Consciousness is knowledge. But that knowledge is it conditioned or is it unconditioned? We call that as unconditioned knowledge. What is the meaning of conditioned knowledge? Conditioned knowledge means knowledge with a upadhi, with a medium of the body or the sense organs or the mind. Like our object, like emotions, it is also an object of consciousness. But Atma or Turiyam by itself is pure knowledge. Try to get this point. Then only you will be successful in meditation. After reaching Turiyam or after reaching a objectless awareness, don't try to again start, hey, I'm not seeing anything. In meditation, don't try to get to this thought because again you're starting samsara. There are 13 features which are negated as the qualities of anatma. In this mantra, what we say is there is no object, there is no being which is connected with Turi. Ashabdam, Asparsham, Rupam, all those things you remember. Now, what are the positive features? So far, we have seen Agrahyam, Avyapadeshyam, Achintyam, Ekatma Pratyasaram, Alakshanam, Vyavahārika. These are all means what? It is not this, it is not this, it is not this. Prapancha Upashamam. Very, very important word. Like I told you, Avyavahārika is one important word. Second important word is Prapancha Upashamam. All the world of plurality is dissolved. The resolution ground is called as the Karana Prapancha. Beyond the Karana Prapancha is this Atma. The third pada is the Prapancha Upashama. Upashama means resolution ground. Prapancha means the world. Shantam. This is the word which is very important when you are trying to sit in meditation and experience the self. What you should say is, this is my Shanta Swarupa. Atma Shanta. It is not the Shanti in the mind. The Shanti in the mind is when the mind becomes sattvic. Agitation is caused by desires, likes and dislikes. Raga, Dvesha. These are the things which cause Ashanti. Shanti is a temple of peace, immortality, perfect. Nothing perfect in the world like this Turiya. Shivam, auspiciousness, blissfulness. There are no words to describe this. Only you have to get a taste of this Turiyam to understand what is Shiva. In Vedanta, happiness is described as a mental condition of poise, which is sattvic nature. World is inauspicious because it is born out of avidya. Very important fact revealed in Upanishads. The whole world is born out of Maya. Maya is avidya. It doesn't know the reality. Body is a product of Maya. Mind is a product of Maya. World is a product of Maya. We are living in the world of Maya. Waking, dream, and sleep, these three states put together is called as Maya. What about Turiyam? It is Advaitam. Another very important word, Prapancha Upashamam, Ekatma Pratyasaram, Advaitam. Advaitam means there is no Dvaitam. Dvaitam means subject, object, instrument. The moment I am in the waking state, subject I, the waker, the world object, and the sense organs and the mind, which are the instruments for perception of the world. That is called as Dvaitam. What about the Turiyam? It is Advaitam. There is no second consciousness. That Turiyam is without Sajatiya, Vijatiya, Swagata, Bheda. No differences internally, no differences between it and the world, because world is not there. It is Mithya. Mithya world is already negated. Duality is in waking and dream. In the sleep state, it is an homogeneous Advaita experience, but it is a state. It is not the reality. Turiyam is beyond that state of the sleep state. Okay? We have used 13 negatives in this mantra number 7. And we have used four positive words. Shantam, Shivam, Advaitam, Prapancha, Upashamam. 2 words are taken up for further analysis. Prapancha Upashamam, the whole second chapter tells us how to understand this word Prapancha Upashamam. One full chapter, I think about 38, 39 verses. Then the third chapter, 49 verses, Advaitam. When we study the chapters, you will know the full gist of the. So, mantra number 7 does not define the reality, but it negates the world of plural. Dvaitam, Advaitam. Duality, plurality, non-duality. Try to understand these 3 things, because in these words only the entire truth is revealed. It is a state away from dream, waking, and sleep. Now, this is Turiyam, which I have to realize. The world, what about the world then? It is like a mirage water. It is like the rope snake. It is like the dream. It is Mithya Prapancha. What is meditation? Meditation is the royal path to success for achieving this final glory of spiritual success in our own self. Royal path. There is no other path which is as good as meditation. Because in meditation, you're trying to understand your true nature as Turiya. Never try to do any other type of meditation. There are other meditations which are taught initial stages, but what we are trying to understand is Vedantic meditation, which is my real nature, which is the nature of Turiya. Now, Karika number 10 onwards is a commentary of Gaudapada on the 7th mantra. Before we go to the Omkara Vichara, Gaudapada spends 4 or 5, he spends some Karikas on the 7th mantra. In Karika number 10, he says, Turiyam is changeless, it is eternal, Nityaha, and it is Advaitaha. It is ever effulgent consciousness. Therefore, it is called as Devaha. Devaha means self-effulgent consciousness. That's why we should know that after reaching Turiyam, it is self-evident. That's all. I am the pure self. I am the Turiyam. In that Turiyam, there is no world. In that Turiyam, I alone am Kaivalya Sarupaha. It is a cessation of all samsara. See, only when you become a student of Vedanta, you get all this knowledge. Suppose you don't come to Upanishad and you just sit in meditation and say, ask the question, who am I? Who am I? Will you come to yourself? No. Vedanta is a systematic study for understanding our real nature. This is the highest qualification you can achieve as a human being. You may have done a lot of PhDs on the world of objects, but that has got no relevance in this area. Mantra number 7 is not a definition of Turiyam, it is a revelation of Turiyam. The indicators of Shantam, Shivam, Advaitam, Prapancha Upashamam, these are all indicators of that Advaita Vastu. Not Advaita Avastha, which is the sleep state. Karika number 11 gives you what are the three aspects of waking, dream, and sleep. Waking is conditioned consciousness, conditioned by cause and effect. See, now Gaudapadacharya slowly starts entering into logic. In the waking state, you can apply the rule of cause and effect. A seed is a cause of the plant. Plant, tree, again it gives fruits. Again, that fruit is again, you have seeds in it. That is again is a cause of the next tree. Father, mother, son, daughter. There is cause-effect relationship. In Vyavahārika, prajna. Prajna means again it is conditioned consciousness, conditioned by ignorance. Vishwa and Taijasa, waking and dream are conditioned where cause and effect both are there. Whereas in prajna, the cause alone is there. What is the cause? Ignorance. I am totally ignorant of my Swarupa. What is Turiyam? Turiyam has no cause, no effect. It is therefore it is not a Vishwa, Taijasa or Prajna. See, when we understand this type of logic clearly when we understand, then we are ready for the second chapter. Cause mentioned in the Mandukya Upaniṣad is the third pada, which is prajna. Prajna means it is a state of unmanifest condition of Prakriti. That prajna, the sleeper himself becomes the world of waking. Like the waker becomes the dreamer, prajna becomes, according to the theory of Mandukya Upaniṣad, prajna is the cause for waker and dreamer. Therefore, waker and dreamer are conditioned by cause effect. What is the cause? The sleep state. What is the effect? The waking and dream. Now, what is the cause of sleep? It is called as Mula Avidya. I don't know my real nature is Turiyam, which is beyond sleep state. If I know that, then I'm free. You see, this is the way the Upanishad says, through understanding of your own nature, which is Turiyam, you can say, I have got rid of this Mula Vidya. I have been suffering this Mula Vidya for many, many births. Millions of births I have taken. So many bodies I have taken. But now I have come to realize my real nature is not this wakerhood or dreamerhood or sleeperhood, but it is Turiyam. Turiyam is not conditioned by cause or effect. It is not conditioned by the sleep state. And it is not conditioned by the Jagrat or the Svapna. Therefore, it is called as the pure state. Now, ego. See, we all use the term ego, I. Now, that is me. I is a reflection of that Sakshi, or it is a reflection of that Turiyam only. In the waking state, the ego is called as waker. In the dream state, it is called as the dreamer. In the sleep state, it is called as the sleeper. But this ego is not real. It is unreal ego. Its nature is Turiya. You remove the, in Kathopanishad, in the second chapter, there is one verse which says, which we did meditation yesterday, in the Saturday class, which says that when you get rid of your ego, you are in the lap of Turiya. Drop your ego. That's all. Don't connect your I with anything in the waking, dream, or sleep. That is your Turiyam. So easy. Karika number 12, it differentiates a very important point in Veda. Many people, they want to understand what is the difference between Turiyam and Prajna. The sleep state, is it the same as the Turiyam? There is a world of difference between Turiyam and Prajna. Now, this slide, Karika number 12, for those people who are confused about this Advaita philosophy of Turiyam versus Dvaitam, try to understand this 12th mantra very clearly. It will help you in understanding your nature as Turiyam. Okay. What is Prajna? Prajna is the tamasic nature of Prakriti. It does not know the reality, which is the Atma. Okay. Prajna is a condition. It does not know the reality, which is Turiya. Now, what is Turiyam? Turiyam is all seeing. It is the power of Sakshi. It is a sentient power. Whereas Anya is almost like insentient. It is almost like inert. You are almost like a log of wood in sleep. Whereas Turiyam is sentiency. It is consciousness. Vibrant consciousness, but it alone is. Turiyam is not a cause or an effect, whereas Prajna is a cause. It is, what is the cause of Prajna? It is Avidya. It is Agrahanam. So there is ego. That I is there in the sleep state also. But what is the status of that I? It does not understand anything. But what effect does that produce? What is the vikshepa it produces, which is the waking and dream? That effect is called as waking and dream. It is an illusory world of objects and beings, which is called as misapprehension. Anyata grahanam. Agrahanam and anyata grahanam. We have studied this while doing the mantra itself. We have studied this. Agrahanam is called as avidya, or one effect of Maya Shakti. Avidya. Vikshepa, the projection, is the second feature of this Maya Shakti, which is our sleep state. So the ego, it covers the nature of Atma. I don't know my real nature is one part of that Karana Sharira. The second part of it is it projects this world. What is the difference between Prajna and Turiyam? Sleep is objectless. Reality is sleepless. See the difference. Ego knows nothing is there. Reality knows Atma, means Satyam. It is always there. In sleep state, neither there is right or wrong, neither there is Atma or Anatma. It has the knowledge of ignorance. It is a nirvikalpa state of avidya. Vikalpa means change, a thought process, a thought vritti. There is no vritti parinama. There is no change in vrittis in the sleep state. I'm talking about sleep state now. Let me finish the state, then we will come to the reality. It will be easy to compare it both. Now, in the sleep state, we know nothing. Isn't it true? Go back to your experience of sleep. In sleep state, I am there, but I know nothing. So it is essentially a state of what? Ignorance. What is ignorance? It is tamoguna. Now, do I know that ignorance or not? Yes, I know that I was ignorant in the sleep state, but who knew it? How did you know it? Because there is a sakshi, there is a reality, there is a seer of that ignorance. That seer is called as Turiya. That seer of ignorance is called as the reality. So, what is the reality? Now we have finished the sleep state. What is the reality? In reality, there is no sleep at all. Always awake. Turiya is always awake. In Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, there is a mantra which says that the nature of consciousness never ends. Viparilopaha. That is the word which is used in Brihadaranyaka. Very, very important mantra to for all seekers to understand the Turiya. If you understand that one mantra, Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, you will understand the nature of Turiya for the rest of your life. It will be so powerful. You will immediately know that is what I am. One mantra of Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. It is a state of eternal consciousness. In that consciousness, there is sleep, waking, dream. Sleep, waking, dream. It is nirvikalpa avastha. It is a nirvikalpa state of not avidya, but it is a state of vidya. See, as a waker, your mind should be able to go in both the directions of Turiyam and also sleep state. Sleep state is a state of avidya. Avidya is the cause of this waking and dream. So the product is also avidya. Again in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad it says, and also in some other Upanishad it says, the entire waking state is a state of avidya. But Turiyam is a state of vidya. And it is nirvikalpaha. There is no vikalpa in that because it is always vidya. We know everything in the state of Turiyam. We know nothing in the state of sleep. Turiyam is a state of pure knowledge. Sleep is a state of ignorance. What about how is it, how does it become like that? It is self-evident by nature. Always evident. I know myself. After the study of Upanishad, one thing which you will understand is, I know I am consciousness. I always am. Always am. Try to get this point. I know I am consciousness. Whether it is waking state, dream state, sleep state, I always am. I always exist. Everything else which comes are some things which appear and disappear. But I don't appear and disappear. I am the eternal, unconditioned consciousness. In Karika number 13, see this. You can see the impact of Mandukya Upaniṣad, the first chapter. Go through these slides again and again if you're not sure, because this is the ultimate reality which the Upanishad is trying to reveal to all of us. In 13th Karika, there is a Purva Pakshi who says, That sleep is the same as Turiya. You are saying so many things, but sleep, I'm telling you, is the same as Turiya. Now, here Gaudapada answers to him and says, Turiyam is different, sleep is different. What is the main thing which he says? He says, sleep is Advaita Avastha. It is a state. What is Turiyam? It is Advaita Vastu. It is not a state, but it is a reality. I understand that in both there is no cognition or duality, which we accept. In sleep state, I don't accept duality. In Turiyam also, there's no duality. In that aspect, both are the same. But in the case of sleep, it is an avastha which keeps coming and going. Agama pahi. It arrives, it departs, it arrives, it departs. Advaitam is an eternal vastu. When I am a jiva and I say I went to sleep, it is a conditioned mind. Whereas if I say I am Turiya Atma, I refer to my pure nature, unconditioned nature, unconditioned by the body, the mind, and the word. Again and again, Upanishad wants you to drop the world and see yourself as I, the Turiya. While going through this itself, you should be able to say, I, with the world, body, and mind, is conditioned consciousness. I, without the body and mind, I exist. I have no ignorance. Whereas in sleep, I am full of ignorance. It is a state which keeps coming and going. There is no condition of sleep in Turiyam. Turiyam is not a sleeper. It is not a waker. It is not a dreamer. It is Turiya. Swami Chinmayananda says, you must love the values given in the Shruti about this Turiya. Then you will have a clear understanding of Turiya. It is a dynamic state of knowing, continuous knowing. It is a state of perfection, illumination. In that, there is nothing else. It's perfect by itself, self evident, self existent. Continuous consciousness, continuous, endless, eternal, perfect knowledge of oneself. There's so much in the 13th Karika. I mean, the 13th Karika itself can be a realization Karika. 14th Karika, Vishva, Taijasa, Prajna, and Turiyam. All this, see, whenever you study Mandukya, we will be studying the three stages again and again. And we'll be using this three terms, Vishva, Taijasa, Prajna, and Turiya. What does the 14th Karika say? The 14th Karika says, Vishva and Taijasa, waking and dream, are dreamful state. It's a dream. Waking is also a dream. The dream state is also a dream. What about the Prajna? It is a dreamless state. And what is Turiyam? In Turiyam, there is no sleep or dream or waking. It is pure consciousness, pure awareness. The ignorance of that pure Turiyam projects this world of waking and the world of dream. That is the thesis in Māṇḍūkya Upaniṣad. What is the thesis? I don't know I am the Turiyam. Therefore, I am projecting. I means what? There is a projection happening which I am taking it as if it is real. Suppose I drop this projection as a projection, it is happening, it is an event. Then you can say, I am Turiyam, that's all. That is what Upanishad wants you to claim. So the product of ignorance, Avidya, is the world of objects and world of beings. The waking state and the dream state, both are projections. They are not creations as what science will say, what other philosophers will say. It is not a creation, but it is a projection on the pure consciousness. Like you have the movie projected on the screen of a TV. Similarly, this entire world is a projection in the screen of consciousness. So waking and dream, they are avidya's state. And the sleep state is a state where it is a homogeneous mass of consciousness, means the subject object difference doesn't exist in the sleep state. Now you can see the difference. In waking also you have the subject object. Dream also you have a subject object, Dvaitam. So Advaitam is what? It is a state where the subject and object are merged together. There exists such a state, and we all experience that state. It is what is called as the sleep state. It is non-apprehension of reality, which is the cause for the misapprehension of the reality, which is an effect. So, sleep state is the cause, waking and dream is an effect. It will take some time for us to accept this truth. This is what the Upanishad is declaring as a fact of life. This is what is happening in our minds, which is the mind is responsible for this projection of this world. Now, when this erroneous knowledge disappears, when I come to know there is an adhyasa, there is a superimposition happening in Turiya, then what happens? I become free. The cause is removed. How do you remove the cause? What is the cause? It is ignorance. So what will be the solution? Solution will be knowledge. I don't know a rope as a rope. I project it as a snake. A guru comes and says, here's a torchlight, use the torchlight. And he shows me that the snake which I thought is not snake, it is rope. In the case of Atma, what happens? A guru comes and shows to you, you are not the waker, you are not the sleeper, you are not the dreamer. You are Atma, which is beyond that. The torchlight is shown in the direction of the three states and says, drop the three states and own up your Turiyam. So this is the process of realization. The 16th Karika mainly tells us that the ignorance in us is anadi. For anadi means there is no beginning to this ignorance. I am ignorant, that's all I know. It will only go when I know this Turiyam. The same I, the ahamkara, the ego, realizes I am not the ego, I am the Turiyam. And who is showing the torchlight? The Veda. The Upanishad is showing the torchlight. So a self-delusion is a sleeper. The one who's deluded is a person who doesn't understand Turiya, which is the current state of all our ego, which is for all of us. We all think that waking, dream, and sleep is real, and there is nothing beyond. Upanishad comes and says, these three are mithya, they are not unreal, and they are not satyam also. But there is something which is real. The Turiyam is real. The world is mithya. Mithya is a term used by Vedantin only. Vedantin coins this word called as mithya to make you understand that dream is mithya, mirage water is mithya, rope snake is mithya. And it says that the waker also is mithya. Okay. In the 16th mantra, it says, in Turiyam state, there is no misapprehension or no non-apprehension. 17th Karika discusses the duality which we experience, which is a perceived world, perceived rope snake. That perceived rope snake is negated. Once it is negated, what happens? The rope shines by itself. Similarly, when the three states are negated as false appearances, the self-evident Turiya is discovered as the final truth. Then in 18th Karika, Gaudapada, a student, Purva Pakshi comes. He says, the world is mithya. Okay. What about the guru who's teaching? What about me, the Sishya? And what about the scriptures, which is Veda? Is it also mithya? Is it also delusion? Answer given by Gaudapadacharya is, in the subject, no object can remain. Whether it is the scriptures, whether it is, when reality is understood, the entire duality is dropped as mithya. That means Guru, Shishya. That is why in Nirvana Shatkam we say, Aham naiva Sishyaha, Aham naiva Guru, Chidananda Rupaha, Shivoham Shiv. Ultimate truth is what? Veda says, Veda becomes Aveda in Vārdhanika Upanishad. Then we come to the 8th mantra of the Upanishad, which is the starting of Omkara Vichara. The 8th mantra only gives a general description that Om consists of 3 alphabets, A, U, I. So now we have finished with the Karikas, we have finished the mantra number 7 completely. Now the second stage of the entire Upanishad starts with Omkara Vichara from mantra number 8 to 12. So this Omkara Vichara, A, U, Ma. A is stands for the waking state. Waking state in mantra number 7, waking state is described as Akara. What is Akara? It is all pervasive. That means it is the first state for a seeker. A is the first letter. And the waking state is the first state. Like the A is the letter in which all the letters, they start from A only. It starts from A, Akara, then Ukara, and then Makara. So, the knower of the waking state, if he knows the Akara as the waking state, the Upanishad says he will fulfill all his desires. That means you meditate on Akara as the waking state. Entire state of Omkara, Amatra, is waking state. This waking state ego is superimposed on the Om sound. Okay. The meditation on Om is on the sound and the soundless silence. The sound A is the first sound of a baby. The mother says to the baby, open your mouth. Automatically the child will say, Ah means the moment the mouth is opened, the letter A comes out. Similarly, they say that Vaishvanara pervades from heaven to earth with 7 limbs. If you, I mean, we have studied all these limbs. Now, this is how the Upanishad describes, compares the letter A with the sound A and the entire universe. After talking about the letter A and the waking universe, the Upanishad goes to Ukara. Ukara stands for the dream state. Ukara is between Ma and A. The dream state is between the sleep state and waking state. We have seen this. So, in the dream state, we meditate as U. And then in the 11th mantra, the sleep state is described, which is Mkara. Prajna. That prajna is a state of the measure of the waking and the dream. That means in sleep, the whole waking and dream goes inside and again it comes outside. Therefore, it is called as the measure. We have seen why it is called as a measure, because the whole state resolves into this makara. What is real? Real is Advaitam, which is beyond the Makara. The one who can judge that the world is resolved in Makara, it comes out of Makara. Projection happens from Ukara and Akara. But the cause is Makara. Okay? So I will stop here today. And next week, we will start with the Karika number 19. Now, on this 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th mantra, there are 6 Karikas. Before we take up the 12th mantra, which is the Amatra. Okay? So next week, most probably, we'll be able to finish this. May not be, I'm not sure, because there are some more Karikas on the Amatra also. Anyway, as soon as we finish the revision, there are 29 Karikas. We are in the 18th, 19th Karika. There are 10 more Karikas and 1 mantra. So once we finish that, then we will go into the second chapter. Okay, so with this, now we close Māṇḍūkya Upaniṣad. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudacchade Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. I'll go through the chat box first before I open up for discussion with Arun Jain. JP is saying it's said to negate the Avasatrayam to reveal the Turiya. My apprehension is how to reveal Turiyam if waking is negated. Okay, good question. Whenever Turiyam is being revealed by the Upanishad, it is talking about something which is self-evident. It is not evident because of the mind or the body or Ishvara or the scriptures. It is not evident because of that. Because it is, Turiyam is self-evident. try to pick up this point. There is something, for example, there is a light, which is illumination. You don't need another light to illumine that light. So you are not trying, what you are trying to say is, I am not even the waking state. I am not the waker. I am not the dreamer. I am not the sleeper. Try to understand these three words. We are talking and we are removing the entire state. The whole state we are dropping. And then we are saying there is a Turiya Vastu, which is the revealer of these three states. So you don't need the waker to be present to understand I am Turiyam, because Turiyam is self-evident. JP, am I getting? You have to understand the nature of Turiya Atma very clearly. Then only you will understand this whole revelation process. Turiyam is self-evident. Don't miss this point. It is self-evident and it is self-existent. So you don't need the mind, you don't need the body. You just have to claim that Turiyam as your nature. That's all. There is not again objectifying it. If you want to objectify, you have to use your mind, you have to use your sense organs, you have to use a thought. Turiyam revelation is without a thought. Akhandakara vritti. Okay? That is why they say that you must claim. You must only say, when you claim, what happens is that vritti comes in your mind, which is akhandam. Akhandam means that it is homogeneous, it's pure. There is no khanda, there is no division in that vritti. That vritti is there without any division. Whereas what happens to the normal vrittis? In our waking state, it is vrittis are coming continuously, and we are only saying subject-object division. Yeah, Shanmugam will unmute all so that now you can speak up. And JP, have you understood what I was trying to say?
Thank you, Shekharji. But what I wanted to ask you, the waking state itself only we do meditation. In the meditation process is going through the waking state only. Hey, when you say when you say negate the all this jnanendriya, all the things, okay, we will negate, okay. But waking state cannot be negated, because through the waking state only we are meditating. Samadhi, what you call it. Otherwise, we will go to sleep.
Otherwise, you'll go to sleep.
Sleep. That sleep mode.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. That, see, what we should understand is the waker is a appearance. Okay, let me go a little bit deeper. You are a waker. Now, can you tell me anything of the dream is being experienced by you as you are waker? Now, last night you had a dream. Right now, do you have an iota of anything of the dream right now? No. It is not there. Same thing, when you climb away from the waker and you just let your mind go in that direction. That's all. You're not dropping the waking state. You just go in the direction of Turiyam. That's all. When you are walking in mentally, when you are going in the direction of Turiyam, what happens is the waker drops by itself, because you are using the scripture as the knowledge. You are saying, I am not the waker in the state of meditation. What you are doing is you are gliding into another state, another new state, which is called as Turiya.
But
in that state, there is no waking.
That it is not translated to sleep, because when we
okay. Now you go back to the slide of sleep. I have given you the difference between the 12th Karika. I have explained to you what is sleep and what is consciousness. What is Turiyam and what is sleep? Sleep is a state of ignorance about the world, about the Turiyam. Turiyam is a state of knowledge. I alone am. This is the difference. Try to pick up and then meditate on it, contemplate on it. Just by listening, you will not understand the full depth of what I'm saying. You need to contemplate on this point very, very clearly. Turiyam is a state of consciousness. It is a state of knowledge. It is self-evident, self-existent vastu. It is there. It is not visible to my eyes. It cannot be known by the mind. It cannot be grasped by the intellect, but it exists. What is the proof that it exists? Upanishad. That's all. I take the Upanishad as a Pramana. Pramana means what? It is a source of knowledge for which the sense organs cannot perceive, the mind cannot perceive, but it is a source of knowledge for Atman. So you have to go with Shraddha of the scriptures and drop that state which is called as waking, dream, and sleep, and own up that Atma as your pure nature. Not easy. I'm not telling you it is it'll come to you immediately, but that is the way the Upanishad wants us to proceed internally. Spiritual path is an internal process. It is a path where you have to take your mind in the direction in which the Upanishad is pointing. Whatever, let anything happen. If you want to go to sleep, you go to sleep in that, but you will never go to sleep because it is a state of pure consciousness in which sleep is not there. All this information you get only from the scriptures. As a seeker, what is the best I can do? I can only contemplate, listen to the scriptures, contemplate on the scriptures. Whatever comes to me in the end of my meditation, let it be there. And then I say, I am progressing in the spiritual path till I know that is my pure level. Till your intellect tells you that Upanishad has given me some line of thought, some internal journey which I have to walk through. Till your intellect says that is Turiya, that is my real nature, continue the study. Continue the meditation. Different types of meditations will help you.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you, JP. I mean, your question is extremely genuine. It's the difference between sleep and Turiyam is a very difficult topic, not easily understood. But when you do the second chapter, third chapter of the Mandukya Upaniṣad, a little bit more clarity will come. This topic will not, your question will not be answered immediately, but it will be a continuous seeking, which you will have to do.
Thank you.
Thank you. Arun, I'll come to you. Venkatesh, how's the sleep the cause for waking and dream? Is it because sleep or prajna is a state of ignorance and waking is an effect of... Yes, you're right. So Venkatesh, what you're saying is correct. See, in no other Upanishad, it says that sleep is the cause for waking and dream. Only Mandukya. Mandukya, the sixth mantra and the fifth mantra, go through that two mantras again and again to get convinced that the sleep state is the cause. It takes years of concentrated study to understand the fifth and the sixth mantra. Because it is a huge change in your understanding of the world. See, when you study Upanishad, your vision of the world changes. That change of vision happens when you know what is the sleep state and what is the effect of the sleep state, which is the waking and dream. Mandukya Upanishad is specially famous for this particular process of understanding the world. Very famous for this because the fifth and the sixth mantra gives you a complete change of your understanding of this whole world itself. Go through it again and again. What you are saying in the chat box is correct. Your understanding is correct. You have to get convinced that the sleep is the cause for waking and dream. Contemplate, your mind will sink this particular thought. Let it sink, let the idea come into your mind. Let it sink. Okay, sleep is the cause. Why is sleep the cause? Sleep is the cause, according to Mandukya, because Mandukya defines sleep as non-apprehension of the reality. I don't understand who am I in my sleep state. Because of that, I take myself to be this body. This body and mind is what is called as anyata grahanam. I take this projected body and mind as me. What Upanishad says is, forget this body and mind, you just look at yourself as Turiya, which is beyond the sleep state. Venkatesh, is it clear a little bit?
It is clear because I had this kind of thinking, just wanted to have a confirmation that the understanding is correct so that it can be developed further. That is the sleep state is a state of agrahanam and waking and dream is anyata grahanam.
Correct. Perfect. Correctly understood. Just keep thinking on the same lines and you are correct. What you are saying is correct.
Yeah. Right. Thanks. Shiva.
Okay, good. Arun, I'll come to you a little later. Let me go back to Vijaya. Agocharam is one of the attributes used for Atman. Agocharam means that the sense organs cannot perceive this Atman. Vijay, you want to say something? You are giving an answer to JP's question. You want to speak up?
Hari Om Shekharji. No, I'm just telling that when Kathopanishad says that you have to drop the ego to realize, once you drop the ego, it is a state where you have the jnanam, but there is no jnatva. You don't know it. You can't speak about the realization. That's the state where somebody says, how will I know? Then if you know, then that is not the kaivalyam. The thing is, you are destroyed. Your aham is gone. You yourself is gone. Yeah. So I think that is why it is called aparoksha. So you will not know it. So it is something like when the pot space, as you said, Ghatakasha becomes to Mahakasha, or when Ganga reaches Bay of Bengal, you cannot identify which is that water from the Bay of Bengal, which is from the Ganga. You will lose yourself into that big ocean. Having lost there, you will not have your own identity. So you don't have to really know what happens to me later on. How will I know that I'm realized or not? This is one state which has always been curious to me, because it is a state where I will not be there to know what has happened to me later, right? So that is the whole journey all about, to be ready for that state. Yeah, I just thought maybe we have to understand a little more of these, when you were taking through today, verse 7, all those attributes. Right, so I think these small phrases are so important, Shekharji, for us to understand, to get more clarity. Yeah, and just extending one more thing.
What your direction of thought is very clear, and I think what you are trying to explain to JP is exactly that in the state of Turiyam, there is nothing except yourself. It's a state of knowledge, and that is what is aparoksha anubhuti. Perfect. Your answer is absolutely right.
One thing I wanted to appreciate today's session is I have understood the verses in Viveka Chudamani, which are on 15-20 verses, where he ends with Brahma Satyam iti bhave Atmani, where he tells that the Atman is
Cause and effect.
Karana Kara Virakshanam iti, it says.
Yes.
And that essence of that has come out from today's session. I'm really grateful to you. Thank you very much.
Very good, very good. I'm very happy you're able to link your teaching. You see, you're able to remember Vivek Chudamani, Karana Vilakshanam with Turiya. See, when you did that Vivek Chudamani, you didn't know that. But now, see, that is how the linkages are built up. You know, when you study Turiyam, immediately you remember, that cause and effect. That cause and effect is only there up to the level of sleep state. Beyond that sleep state is this Turiyam, the seventh mantra. The seventh mantra is an amazing mantra. It gives so much of clarity in Advaita Vedanta. Tremendous clarity. That is why Māṇḍūkya Upaniṣad gives, you may have a lot of questions. After doing so many Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita, you will say, hey, I don't understand this, I don't understand. It's true. But when you come to study of Māṇḍūkya Upaniṣad, all your doubts suddenly, they just evaporate. Yeah,
One
Arun,
more thing is one more thing is when we do the Upanishads, when we do the Bhagavatam, we always say Lord is Upadana Karanam and Nimitta Karanam. This is only to explain from the perspective of Jagat. That's what I have realized today. Because he is Karana Vilakshanam, Brahman is. So that is when you go it at the Satyapad, that means absolute, then the Jagat and Jiva itself dissolves. So the Lord cannot be told as Karana, Upadana Karana or Nimitta Karana. He is beyond those. He is beyond. It's not that manifest plus unmanifest is Lord. He is beyond those two. I think that is one more understanding that I had from today's session. Thank you very, very much. Yeah.
Yeah. You see, normally we say Upadana Karanam, Nimitta Karanam, all this is for the beginners.
Yeah.
When somebody is walking in the path of Upanishads, then we say, okay, Brahman is the Karanam. In many Upanishads, they also start like that. But towards the end of that Upanishad, in Taittiriya, for example, Brahman is talked as the cause of the world. But towards the 8th Anuvaka of the Taittiriya Upanishad, it says Prapancha Upashamam. That's it. Everything gets resolved, and then you hold up to Brahman alone. So, at the beginning stages, cause effect is mentioned. Brahman is taken as Upadana Karanam for the world. But later on, as you grow in Vedanta, then what happens is you drop that cause effect chain. Then it's like dropping the pole vault. You drop that and then you see who you are. That is the last step. Good. Thank you, Vijay. Arun has been waiting for a long time. Nandu and Niranjan, I will come back to you. Arun, can you explain what you are trying to ask?
Sir, good evening to you.
Yeah, good evening. Yeah.
My advance apologies with the ignorance that I'm posting my questions. So these are as follows, sir. If I understood right, you said that Turiyam is the tamasic state. Am I right, sir?
No. It is not the tamasic state. It's wrong. Turiyam is not tamasic. Sleep state is tamasic.
Okay. And it is also the state which is Advaita Avastha.
Correct. You see, the sleep state is also Advaita Avastha.
Right,
and Turiyam is also Advaita. It is not Advaita Avastha, it is Advaita Vastu. There is something called as Turiyam.
Yeah, I will come to that later on because I don't understand Vastu being attributed to Turiyam. But for now, that is not my question. My question is, if sleep is Advaita Avastha on one hand and Tamasik on the other hand, is it not superior to the waking state?
Yes.
If sleeping state is the Advaita Avastha state, whereas waking state is not that, it is a Dvaita Avastha state, then is sleep not better than the waking state itself?
That state.
Am I actually awake when I am asleep?
Okay. See, it depends on whether you are actually awake in sleep state or whether you are sleeping. If you're sleeping, it is not better than waking. If you're sleeping, means you're sleeping to everything. You don't have any knowledge, you're totally in ignorant state. You don't know the world also, you don't know yourself also. At least in the waking state, you're going through your prarabdha karma and you're getting rid of prarabdha karma and you're coming out of it. Eventually, you will come back to the understanding of Turiyam and proceed. See, normally we never say waking is sleep state is better than no. I mean, nowhere in the Veda, it says sleep is better than. You understand
But sir,
sleep as sleep.
by implication, does it not imply the same? If my sleep state is the state in which I lose my dualism, I'm non-dual, and
Correct.
in my waking state I have dualism in my mind, then by implication, I mean, at least to me, it sounds that the sleep state is better than the waking state.
No, but
Quote
we
unquote.
cannot. No. But we cannot say, as Guru will not say, go back to your sleep state and you will realize yourself. Only in waking state, a Guru can explain to you what is Turiyam.
Okay, sir. Lastly, these three states, waking, sleep, and dreaming states, these are physical states of body and mind, or something else?
It is a state of the mind only.
Only mind only.
You see, mind is the cause. Mind is where the mind goes to sleep, and together with it, it will take the indriyas. The main thing is the focus is on the mind. The mind goes to sleep, the mind
Right.
becomes active. See, mind is fully active in the waking state. What do we say in the waking state? The mind is fully active. It activates the sense organs to experience the external world. It also is activating its own Vāsanās. It can bring out all the Karana Shariram Vāsanās. It is that is the waking state. Dream state is it is a semi-active. It is where the sense organs are closed. Only the mind is full of Vāsanās, projecting all the impressions which it had gathered in the waking state. That is the dream state. In the sleep state, what happens? Completely passive mind. This aspect you must realize again and again. Contemplate on this. The mind is the focus. Mind goes to complete passive nature in the sleep state. It doesn't understand at all anything. That is why it is called, you see, now the reference is with reference to the mind. You're not talking with reference to the Turiya. You're only
Right, sir.
talking
Right, sir.
talking with reference to the mind only. And this mind, with the help, when it is in the waking state, it is making use of the physical body. So the instrument used is what? Along with the mind, it uses the physical body. In the dream state, it uses the mind only. That means it uses the Karana Shariram, the Vāsanās which are there, and it projects. It experiences a different world. In the sleep state, there is no medium at all. The mind itself becomes tamasic. And tamasic means what? It is the nature of the mind.
Inert.
It is inert. And it becomes totally, and in that state, consciousness doesn't reflect on it at all. It reflects it. The reflection goes away, and what you experience is, I don't know anything in sleep.
But sir, is it not in complete contrast with I think chapter 15 of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, which gives distinction between sattvic state and rajasic state and tamasic state?
No.
Wherein
First of all, it is the 14th chapter of Gita,
14th chapter.
which
Okay,
talks.
sir,
Yeah, it is the 14th chapter.
I'm sorry,
So
sir. Yeah.
there it talks about the three gunas.
Right.
Now, three gunas, they belong to Prakriti.
Okay.
Prakriti means it is it is the Panchabhutas.
Right,
Now,
sir.
Prakriti has got the gunas of Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas.
Right.
This mind is nothing but Prakriti. Subtle body is nothing, it is the subtle elements which form the mind. Now, this subtle mind has got the capacity and the ability to reflect consciousness, to absorb consciousness in the waking state, in the dream state, and this mind has got the ability to drop that consciousness in the sleep state. When it drops the consciousness, it is called as tamasic guna. When it takes away when it takes the reflection and it is able to do it, it is able to experience the whole world, the Jagrat, it is called as the Rajasic guna. The Rajas of the mind, you can see it when we are active in the waking. Right now, the class is going on. You are listening, you're talking, you're touching, you're seeing. That is all Rajas, full of activity. And then in the dream state, sense organs are closed. See, the Bhagavad Gita, the beauty of the 14th chapter is it helps me to understand what am I experiencing in the world and how I am experiencing the world. I'm experiencing the world consisting of three gunas. The body is also made up of three gunas. The interaction between the body and the world is what we call it as the waking state. In the third
Then,
chapter,
sir,
Bhagavad Gita, go ahead.
yeah, my gateway to Turiyam is through sleep state then, which is a
Absolutely.
tamasic state.
No. You see, your gateway is in the waking state only. You
In the waking
cannot
state
go
only.
to the sleep. No. You cannot go to the sleep state and try to say, I'm going to realize in the sleep state. You're
But sir, that's the
ultimately.
contradiction. I am sorry to interrupt you. That's the contradiction. The waking state is the Dvaita state, dualism state. And I want to go to the supreme state of Advaita.
Correct.
So how will I go to Advaita through Dvaita, whereas the sleep mode, which is already Advaita, is, in my understanding, after today's lecture, better than the waking state.
Okay. There are three stations. One station is the waking state. Another station is the dream state. The third station is the sleep state.
Okay.
First, understand there are three stations. Okay. Now, you are in the waking state. There is no teaching possible. There is no realization possible when you are in the dream state or the sleep state. Suppose you are dreaming. No teaching of Turiyam is possible. Suppose you're sleeping. I cannot come and wake you up in the sleep state and say, come on, get up. You are Turiya. Not possible. So, one thing we should understand is, in the waking state, I am closing my eyes, I am sitting in meditation, I am trying to bring all the three states in front of me. That is why this Omkara meditation is prescribed. A-U-Ma. I bring the waking state in my own mind. It is mentally I try to bring these three states and say, what did I experience in the waking state? I'm experiencing the world which is full of Dvaitam. Dream state is also another Dvaitam where there is subject-object. In the sleep state, I experience Advaitam. No doubt about it. That is 50% of the problem is solved. But the problem is, in that sleep state, there is another problem. The second problem is there is a covering of my real nature. So, Veda asks you to be in waking state and say that covering I want to remove of my sleep state. You don't, I mean, it is a mentally you're trying to enter the sleep state in the waking state and saying, remove that covering of my sleep state and realize who am I, which is the pure I, which is the Turiyam I, which the Upanishad is trying to teach me. In the waking state, I tell, in my mind, I say, I'm not a waker. That is what the Upanishad wants you to do. Seventh mantra says very clearly, na bahish prajnam, na anta prajnam, na upaya prajnam. I'm not the waker, I'm not the dreamer, I'm not the sleeper. Let your mind sink first this thought that waker is one aspect of my life. Dreamer is another aspect of my life. Sleeper is another aspect of my life. 1/3 of our life, 8 hours, 6 hours, we spend in sleeping. 16 hours we are awake. 8 hours we are sleeping, but we know nothing of the sleep state. Here, what we are trying to do is, see, these are all the questions you will. Is this the first time you are doing Mandukya, or have you done Mandukya first before?
No, I mean, I'm not a very good reader. I'm not well read. I'm not well read.
Okay. Anyway,
So,
these are all, see, your questions are very, very valid. I can understand as a person who's listening to Mandukya for the first time, you've been coming to Upanishad, trying to understand. You will have these questions, but slowly they will get resolved. Okay. So, Anand has said that Swami Chinmayananda uses the pole vault example. So, in the pole vault example, what happens is you take that pole. Suppose you are watching a pole vaulter. You take the pole vaulter is going to hold the pole till he reaches the top. That means in the waking state, you reach the sleep state also, and then what do you do? In the sleep state, you tell yourself, I am not the sleeper. I am dropping the sleep state also, and I'm going to cross over to the other side. I'm going to cross to the Turiyam side. So waking, dream, and sleep are the 3 stations which I have to drop. I have to learn to drop. It is not easy. Slowly, you see, that is why these meditations which I do, they are very helpful for training the mind to become used to this knowledge of Turiya. At this beginning stage, your questions are extremely valid. Keep listening. You will get your doubts clarified. These doubts which you are very, very natural. And I'm glad you have a very sharp mind. Keep thinking and keep questioning. Good. Thank you,
thank you, sir.
Arun.
Pranam.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Yeah, now Niranjan. Go ahead, Niranjan. Or I think it's Nandu Desai. Go ahead, Nandu. I think Nandu is not there. Okay, anybody else has any other questions? You can speak up now if you have.
Yes, Shekari.
Yeah, go ahead.
Not of the consciousness. Is it right in saying that?
No, I can't
Okay.
hear you. Yeah, go ahead.
Hello. Sorry,
Yeah,
am I clear?
yeah, Niranjan, go ahead.
Yes, Shekharji. What I was asking is like the waking, dreaming, and deep sleep are the states of the mind. They are not the states of the consciousness, because consciousness doesn't have any state.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. You're right. Consciousness is always changeless. The mind has got the 3 states. Mind, that is why and the mind belongs to the individual jiva. So the jiva wakes up, the jiva goes to sleep, the jiva has a dream. But suppose you say, I am not the jiva, instead of attaching itself to the ego, which belongs to the physical body or the subtle body or the causal body. It learns to drop that these three bodies are not me. I am the pure Atman. Yeah, Nandu, you wanted to ask any question?
Not a question, just to add on something about overall discussions and maybe the ultimate truth and what like Acharya is saying, Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya and Jiva Brahmeva Napara. And because of like my understanding, because of like so many births, like ignorance and all, I am thinking that I am a waker, I am a dreamer, I am a sleeper. But ultimately I am the Turiya, the ultimate Atman. And the beautiful teaching from, I believe, from the Vyavahārika Upanishad, which is saying that Yajnavalkya is saying to Maitreya about like Atmavare Drashtavyo, Shrotavyo, Mantavyo, Nididasatavyo. So our ultimate thing is we just need to chase on the same thing, just Sravanam, Mananam, Nididasanam. That is the ultimate sadhana.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah, basically, that's the process. So all of us have to get involved, go through that process, and ultimately, whatever is the result of that process will be shown to us.
But the truth is that, I mean, the Brahma Satyam and Acharya is saying, Gaudapadacharya is saying, Shankaracharya is saying, like that is the thing. And we are not able to understand because of like our ignorance only, because of like so many births and births. We are thinking that I'm not the real Brahman, but I'm the other side. And I think that, and as you mentioned also, like keeping like a faith, Shraddha, and that is the ultimate truth.
That's correct. Yes. Thank you, Nandu. You were not there yesterday in the Saturday session, right?
Yeah, a couple of weeks I was a little bit busy, but I'm free now.
Okay. Yesterday I had taken Māṇḍūkya Upaniṣad for the Saturday class. So
Okay.
it's a very good Upanishad. You had mentioned about it some time ago. If you want, you can just go through the recording.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Anybody else has any other question? You can unmute yourself and speak if you have any questions. Okay, if there are no other questions, we'll stop today and we'll continue next week.
Sir, one thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the Māṇḍūkya Upaniṣad, I think that was one of the beautiful one. And
Which one?
Māṇḍūkya Upaniṣad, that is beautiful one. And yeah, I will go through that one.
Yeah, go through that. Māṇḍūkya Upaniṣad. I had sent details of the Upanishad yesterday on the WhatsApp group. If you have gone, I mean, if you are there in the Saturday group, you would have seen the Māṇḍūkya Upaniṣad details.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Shekharji, for sending it by email.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Shanta. Okay, so I think we'll stop today. There was some problem in the connections, and we'll catch up next week then. Thank you. Thank you. Namaste.
Thank you so much.
you.
Namaste.
Thank you.
Shekharji.
Namaste.
Thank you.